Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike.
I'm Charlie, and today we'll be talking about if you're flat towing your Jeep behind your RV, and when you get to the campsite you have a dead battery. This will fix that problem.
If you are a JL owner or a Gladiator owner and you're flat towing your vehicle behind your RV and you get to the campground and your battery is dead, here's the reason why. You will likely have LED tail lights. And what happens is, back in the old school, the technology with incandescent lights, it uses the resistance of the bulb to determine if the taillight is burnt out or not. If the resistance falls out, the computer on the Jeep will tell you if the taillight is burnt out. With LEDs, there's such a small resistance that it uses a different technology. So rather than using the resistance of the bulb, it actually runs a separate communication wire back to the taillights, up to the computer module that says, hey, I'm not here, trigger the light that says your taillights are burnt out. So CoolTech, which they did send us this harness for free, but we have purchased their products in the past, and as always, we give a honest review on products we share here. So they've come up with a solution, and what this solution does is this literally will terminate the communication between the taillights and the computer. So when you're towing your vehicle, it's not looking for the Jeep is not looking for that communication. It's not waking up the Jeep and saying, hey, the taillights aren't on every time the brakes are pushed. So this will eliminate that dead battery issue. If you already have your CoolTech wiring harness installed, no big deal. You can order this kit. It comes with the extra switch as well as the mount to install both switches. So you can do this after the fact. If you have a JL or JT with LED headlights and you're going to install this CoolTech harness to flat tow your vehicle, which we highly recommend, I would get the additional cutoff switch for the LED lights, and it will solve that issue. And regardless of if you're doing this or not, we highly recommend the RVI towed battery charger. This will always make sure that the 12-volt battery on your JL or JT is being charged from the RV while it's running and while it's being towed. So kind of like suspenders and a belt, but it ties it all in, and when you get to the campground, you're not worried about jump starting your Jeep. Hey guys, Mike with Jeeps on the Run, and as we talked about in the previous video, we are going to be installing the battery drain fix for the JL or JT with the LED tail lights. If you're flat towing your Wrangler or Gladiator behind a motorhome. So we've kind of already got it started. You can watch our other video about how to install the CoolTech wiring harness in general, and it will get you this far. So now this is just moving forward with the battery drain fix. We're going to show you how to install that. CoolTech did supply us with this harness for free, but we are CoolTech customers. In fact, you can watch our other video from a couple years ago. We've been using the CoolTech products since about 2018 with really good results. So as always, we bring you honest reviews here, and I'm excited to have this fix for the JL. So we're at the point where I've got all of the CoolTech harness wired in. I don't want to quite organize everything just yet because I do want to install the battery drain fix for the LED tail light situation. So according to these directions, we do need to remove the rear tail light. Because we're gonna have to check for the proper connection. Unlike this harness, you can test for the proper connection by actually cutting the wire or pinning it out. This one, we're gonna have to do a little continuity test. So we'll show you how to do that, and we'll give you some tips on that. So the first step we're gonna do is, I have pulled the two wires, which I believe are them. It's a white with beige stripe and a white with gray stripe. I'm fairly confident these are my two, but now we need to test to make sure. All right, so the next step in this process is to remove the rear tail lights. So on this side, driver's side, you're gonna go ahead and take this panel off. Passenger side, same idea, just a different size panel. You've got a nylon nut in here. You can either use a 10mm ratchet or a Phillips. I would highly recommend the 10mm ratchet just for the sheer fact of the Phillips. I never feel like I get a good bite on the bolt. Once you get it loose enough, you can probably do it by hand. You're going to want to hold on to the taillight on the back so it doesn't actually fall out. Charlie's going to hold it. Once you get the bolt out, I should say, that's it, and the taillight will pull out. So then come around this side. So all you're going to do is pull out that red tab, Give the harness a little squeeze. There you go. And then we've got the light out. What we're looking for on this side, the white with gray stripe, which I believe is that guy right there. I got to get some better light, but that should be the one we're looking for, white with gray stripe. On both of them, it's the second one in on the bottom from the left. So it was the white with brown stripe on this side. It's the white with gray stripe. Second pin in, and we're going to test it the same way we did the driver's side. So now that we've got the tail light removed, we need to confirm the wire back here in pin 8. If you look, it's white with beige. It kind of looks brown to me, but the second pin from the top, white with a brown stripe. So we need to confirm that this is the wire we're going to terminate. So we're going to run a continuity from this up to the door sill to the wire that we're gonna connect with. So I'm gonna grab my helper Charlie here. I'm gonna show you a little trick. If you don't have something like this, these work great. These are just test leads. So these are gonna help me to extend my meter. I'm gonna have him hold it on here just so I'm not connecting with a bunch of other wires. And then we're gonna do a continuity to the wire in the door sill and make sure that this is the wire that we're in fact grabbing. If you don't have this, you could use some kind of speaker wire or any other kind of wire to run your test. We've got this connected. It goes down to the Milwaukee tester there by Charlie. We've just got an extension lead. Charlie is probing out the
Brown, it's white with brown stripe.
The white with brown stripe. And if you come back by me, we know the white with brown stripe is the second pin from the bottom on here. So I just did this tool I had just to make it easier to probe it. And as I probe it, make sure I got the right one. I don't know if you can hear it because you don't have the mic on, but I've got continuity. So that tells me that that is the correct wire that we need to be at. So what that one does is that kills the communication between the LED light and the powertrain control, the body control module. So when that wire will be disconnected, the Jeep will not wake up trying to say, hey, you don't have tail lights. Whether you do a CoolTech harness or even a factory Mopar harness, this issue will be present. So I would just go ahead and use the CoolTech harness, but we've confirmed that this is it. Okay, so we have determined these are the two wires. They're fairly small in diameter gauge. So the white with brown, and the white with gray. So what we're gonna do is, just like the other ones, we are gonna cut them. If you wanna cut them one at a time, whatever, it's fine. You notice here you've got two lengths. You've got a longer one and a shorter one. The longer one is going to be for the wire that continues to the front of the Jeep, which I just lost down here. Here it is. The longer one is gonna go to the wires that continue to the front, and the shorter one is going to be the wire that continues to the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip this wire. The longer one we're going to put in here to, obviously I'm going to strip it to the brown there, and then the shorter one is going to go into this one, and then we're going to crimp them and heat shrink them. What I highly recommend, and Joe, he's holding the camera now, he's my camera guy, is a set of these. If you don't have these, you can get these at Harbor Freight or whatever the case, but these work really well over pliers, and you're going to want to use the red location. Go ahead and crimp it like right about there, and then I use a small torch to shrink these down. Again, be careful. You can use a heat gun or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and wrap these up. We're going to crimp them, and I'm going to show you what all this stuff looks like when it's nice and organized and back in. Again, if you're just tuning in, you can watch our other video on the install of the actual CoolTech harness, but this is just for the fix for the LED battery drain. And so if you are adding that, it's as simple as that. So we're going to cut these and we're going to strip them, and we are going to make this all clean and then a nice install here. So a quick strip. When you strip these, make sure you give them a good twist. Again, longer goes forward. We're going to put this into the brown. It probably doesn't matter what one you use, to be honest, as long as you are consistent with both sides. Make sure that wire is buried down into the base of that butt connector, and give it a crimp. Again, make sure you didn't move it. Good crimp. We'll go back and heat these and make them watertight, and they're going to look just like this when we're done. Nice heat up around the insulation. So we're going to do the same with this white with gray, And then this installation as far as under here is completely done. And again, when you're towing and when you're driving in normal Jeep mode, tow mode. Just that simple. So if you're done here and you're installing just the LED fix, you guys will wrap this up and be done. Otherwise, you can continue watching. We'll show you how to finish up the install of the wire harness all the way up to the front of the vehicle so you can connect for your RV.